video. See how long I can keep doing this. Okay. So my cousin was asking me a question. In my training routine, do I do a long day? If so, do I track it and keep it the same or increase that long day run? In the beginning, I think I might have. Over time, through the years, I think I've just tried to increase my daily run. And then once I got into ultra running, the focus was still just the daily run, increasing that, because I seen that these ultra runners are focusing on weekly mileage, trying to hit upwards of 100-mile weeks for some of the top end runners. So once I figured out what that number was, 100 divided by 7, it's like 14 something miles a day. That's what my focus was how can I hit that healthily so I can hit it every day and not get injured, or do it, get injured, and see if I can still push through. I realized that part of these long distance races is to be ready for those long distances by doing a long day, and knowing that you can handle those long runs. I don't know. I've been trying for the last 3-ish years doing these ultra races, and I've never really done crazy long runs. Like, my longest runs on the weekend when I have the most time is like a 20-mile run. And according to ultra running standards, 20 miles is not a long run. So I don't know, as I'm training a lot during the week, that is something in the back of my head that I need to do these long runs on the weekend, do them longer, and track them and increase them to know that I can handle that. But I don't know, the last 3 years, me signing up for races and actually attempting them, because I don't know, I haven't been able to accomplish a 100-mile run yet, but I don't know, I'm just going to keep trying. I don't know, I put in big weeks, and I can still push out a really long run without doing super long runs on the weekend all the time. So you can do what you want. You can take my approach, or you can take the textbook approach of doing the long runs on the weekend and slowly improving them over time. That is something on my mind and something I want to try and incorporate into my routine, is to do these longer runs on the weekend. But I mean, in the past, for the most part, it's always just been either a long run in the morning during the week, as long as I can, or doing 2-a-days. Like, I don't know, like in the past I've done 12-mile runs in the morning, sometimes even doing a 2-a-day as well, with like a 6-mile run after work. But I mean, that calls for a very very exhausting day, and if you string these days together, I mean, yeah, you can get injured. You can get stress fractures and shin splints and all the stuff that comes with running a lot. It's a good way to train your mind. But I don't know. I mean, right now, where my races are for next year and where my mind is I'm kind of in a strength building phase, and I'm not really doing crazy runs in the morning or after work right now. I'm kind of just slowly building strength again and slowly building the mileage again. So I don't know. My focus is trying to make my own approach to training. Although following the textbook is a good idea for many beginners and many seasoned athletes. I don't know. I like to keep things fun and test my body and test my mind and see how my body and mind responds to different approaches. So I don't know. In these videos ahead, which I do keep sharing them, I'll share what I'm doing, what my methods are, and that. And maybe they can help you. I don't know. One thing I want to touch on my last video that I didn't really get to was my running shoes when I'm training. During the week, I try to run in a very low stack height shoe. I wanna try to get injured during my training runs. I want my body to adapt to the stresses and be ready for these races. So during the week, I'll run in almost like a barefoot shoe as much as possible, which I don't run in barefoot shoes right now. I mean, winter's coming, you don't want your feet to freeze or whatever, but yeah, so I'll run in a low stack height shoe. Maybe if I'm going to do a long run and I'm worried about injuring my feet, I'll switch to a shoe with a higher stack height, a little more cushion. I'm always doing a warm up and a cool down during every run. So for all these textbooks that I'm reading that talk about training methods, and a lot of them will talk about having an A race and a B race and a C race and kind of going down the alphabet, but your A race is your most important race, and then structuring your training to make sure you peak for your A race, and every other letter after A is kind of a race that's set up for training for your A race. So my A race, I mean, if you watch David Goggins a lot, he'll talk about the next race is your A race, which is a good mindset to have. But and I do carry that mindset to a certain degree, because you don't want to be going into a race and be unprepared. You want to be somewhat prepared for your next event that's coming up. But my A race for next year, in the last couple years, has been this Backyard Ultra format, which is just over a 4-mile loop every hour. Which, I mean, if a normal person goes out for a run, they'll hit that 4 miles in probably 45 minutes, and then you'll get to, normal people, they'll be done, but for us, so let's say it takes that amount of time, then you get to rest until the next hour starts and run that 4-mile loop again. And in that rest time, you get to eat something, whatever you brought with you, maybe sit in a chair, recover, whatever you gotta do until that bell goes off again. You gotta run that 4-mile loop again in the next hour. The first year I attempted that, I got, what did I get? I think I got 12, maybe 12 hours, 12 loops. And then the next year I did it, which was last year, I only got 8 hours. So, I don't know, maybe my training was wrong. Maybe the day of it was hot. I don't know. I don't want to be throwing around excuses, but all we can really do is keep trying. But what was I gonna say about this? So for training for that this time around, and right now, just because training is kind of like at a low, easy point right now, I'm just kind of doing the same as what I've always been doing, just to slowly build and get my body ready again for the hard training coming again soon. So as of now, it's just two little loops, just sandwiched together, no breaks in between. So I still got a life to live, a routine to get through, and gotta get ready for work and blah blah blah, all the normal stuff that normal people do. Um, so yeah, so because it's winter, my first loop, my first 4 mile run will be all layered up, ready for the cold. Um, so this race is kind of where I live anyway. It's kind of where your first heat wave will come in the spring, summertime. So what I've been thinking of for training for this race is, because winter's here and you're all bundled up, ready for the cold, is as the days slowly get warmer and warmer, you just want to try and keep those layers of clothing on. You want to try and heat train to be ready for that heat wave coming. And then, I don't know, like, it's kind of comfortable and whatever when you're wearing all those layers in the cold. So, my second loop, I'll kind of peel the layers off and absorb the cold as much as I can. So I'll have no shirt on for that last loop, soak up the cold, try and develop brown fat, which, I don't know, according to some of these health YouTubers, is it's healthy to have some brown fat on you. So I'll do that. So that second loop, sorry, the first loop, it's just a normal run, nothing special. The second loop, I'll kind of be running with no shirt. I'll also be running with dumbbells. So in the last 15-ish years of me running, exercising, I've always liked doing these OCR mud obstacle runs. And you kind of need a lot of upper body strength to be going through these jungle gym things. So if I do decide to get back into OCR heavy again, I want my body to be ready. So that last 4 mile loop in the morning that I do, I'll be running with dumbbells and slowly, progressively overloading with those. It's just a way for me to be efficient with my training, get my arms stronger. I mean, the way I see it, running with dumbbells is it's developing your joints, your elbow joints and your shoulders, and not really muscles so much, maybe a little bit, but I mean, your arms are kind of locked in, and it's just the bouncing effect of, of running, that you're getting the shock to your joints. So that's what I'm doing with that. And I think that's enough for today. If anyone's got questions or whatever, that makes it easier for me to make more videos in the future to talk about.